right now for a change of the mandate of the UN mission in Côte d'Ivoire. This mandate should be upgraded, should be reinforced to, let's say, to have a sort of peace enforcement mandate, because otherwise the killing will be perpetrated and the civilians are without any help. As you know, the protection of civilians is the heart of the peacekeeping operation. That should be fulfilled. Right now, the United Nations mission in Côte d'Ivoire could not fulfill this mandate, the task, because there's some limitation on that mandate. As you know, the supporter of Mr. Gbagbo, the force loyal to Mr. Gbagbo, prevent the peacekeepers doing the job. And worse, they are targeted as well.
A German security official claims the man accused of killing 2 U.S. servicemen on Wednesday has confessed to targeting Americans. The men were killed when an armed man boarded a bus carrying U.S. airmen to a Frankfurt airport terminal and opened fire. Prosecutors say they're now looking into what sparked the attack. Lawyers for Julian Assange have appealed against a judge's ruling to extradite the WikiLeaks founder to Sweden to fake sex crimes allegations. Documents were lodged at the High Court in London, but the appeal process could take some months. Assange maintains his sexual relations with the women involved were consensual. The Military Council in Egypt has appointed a new prime minister. Essam Sharaf will take over from Ahmed Shafiq, who resigned on Thursday. Sharaf is a former transport minister and he's been asked to form a new government. Shireen Tadros has more from Cairo.
It was the protesters' main demand, and on the eve of another million-man march, it was met. The military announcing on their Facebook page they'd accepted the resignation of Prime Minister Ahmed Shafiq, the man appointed by former President Mubarak before he stepped down. 12 hours before, Shafiq was on Egyptian television having heated debates. He told presenters and guests he wasn't planning on stepping down, even given the public pressure and planned protests. He also defended the state security apparatus Egyptians have come to loathe.
Friday's demonstration, which had been gaining a lot of momentum here, is still going ahead. But organizers say it's not going to be a sit-in or a protest, but a day of celebration because the Egyptian people have had one of their main demands met.
Friday will be a festive day. We will finish in the evening and tell people there is no need for further action now. We need to give a chance to the new cabinet to tell us how and when the rest of our demands will be met.
This is the man tasked with forming a new cabinet, Egypt's new Prime Minister Essam Sharaf. He served briefly as transport minister under Hosni Mubarak but quit his post in protest after a deadly train crash. He said the state was not serious enough about solving traffic issues in Egypt. Youth and opposition groups support his appointment. They want a new government of technocrats and to be rid of any remnants of the old regime. With political changes going full steam ahead, Egyptians are cautiously optimistic. They're keeping a close watch, aware the people's strength lies in their stamina to keep pushing for the kind of Egypt they're still dreaming of. Shireen Tadros, AlJazeera, Cairo.
Warm smiles mask simmering tensions as the U.S. and Mexico seek to improve strained relations over border drug violence. That's coming up, and doctors in the UK perform a medical miracle on a stillborn baby girl. They brought her to life by cooling her brain.
Welcome to another look at the international forecast. Starting with Australia, where we've got some very wet weather making its way into southern Queensland. You can see how the cloud is starting to fill in, it's pushing its way through, and we will see some extremely heavy rain. I think a real risk of further flooding coming into southern Queensland over the next couple of days. There's Friday's picture, that very wet weather setting in, and it's still there as we go on into Sunday. So, as I said, I think we will see some problems coming through. That wet weather joining up with the tropical downpours across northern Australia. To the south, it's largely dry and fine, but we have got some damp weather also making its way into Western Australia. Perth at around 30 Celsius should continue to brighten up. There's that bright weather down to the southeastern corner. It's hot for Adelaide, 31 Celsius. Come down into New Zealand, and it's been extremely windy here recently. Christchurch has had problems with some very windy weather. It will stay pretty disturbed over the next day or so. In the North Island, we'll see an increasing amount of rain through the course of Friday. Saturday sees that rain sliding its way up towards Auckland, and it will turn increasingly wet too across much of the South Island. We come further north into Indonesia. Again, some very heavy tropical showers coming through here. For Borneo, it is largely dry, but very wet weather will continue to make its way across the South China Seas in the coming days.
Leaders are remembered, be they loved or feared. Alone they are inscribed on the pages of history. But what of the men and women whose hands build their monuments and whose blood stains their battlefields? The people who, against all odds, wield the power to reshape history. People in power at this time on AlJazeera.
Welcome back. These are our top stories on Al Jazeera. More fighting in Libya's government opponents in Brega say they're in control of the town despite renewed air raids. The area has been under attack from Libyan forces loyal to the Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi for 2 days. At least 6 women have been shot dead at a rally for Alassane Ouattara in Côte d'Ivoire. Witnesses say they were killed by security forces loyal to Ouattara's rival, President Laurent Gbagbo. Egypt's military council has appointed Essam Sharaf as prime minister. He will take over from Ahmed Shafiq, who resigned on Thursday. Sharaf, a former transport minister, has been asked to form a new government. Well, back to Libya now, and mourners have been paying their respects to the opposition fighters who died in Brega. Our correspondent Jackie Rowland was there.
The battle for eastern Libya rages on, from the air and on the ground. The rebels' advanced positions are now about 50 kilometres west of the town of Breka. Pro-Gaddafi bombers make sorties overhead. The rebels fight back in any way they can.
The airplane came and we fight them. Then they bombed us with 3 bombs. This is the one, and the other one there, and the third one there.
The bombers missed their target. Local people think they were aiming at an oil facility, crucial to the war effort in the east of the country. The town of Breka remains in rebel hands for now. The fighters are under-equipped and poorly trained, but they are armed with a passionate will to get rid of Muammar Gaddafi. The battle has claimed its first victims, 6 men from the nearby town of AlJazeera. They rallied to the front line to defend the revolution, and they came home in coffins, fallen for the new Libya